Hey guys, welcome to my review for chapter 501 of Fairy Tail. Now unfortunately last week's chapter, the big 500, was a bit of a mixed bag, but I feel like this chapter sort of made up for it because it was a lot more enjoyable. However, and it really sucks that I keep having to say this, the overall quality of this chapter really depends on what's going to happen next. Why? Because Brandish friggin' dies. But based on what's been happening recently in Fairy Tail, I find it really hard to believe that she is actually dead. But anyway, what happens? So Brandish is there with Lucy, Natsu, and Happy, and she starts telling them, oh, how she's devoted to her country and all that, but we realize that it's really mostly an act because she knows that Demaria is actually like watching the whole thing. So because of this, she enlarges Natsu's tumor, you know, that tumor that she got rid of, so he's just there on the ground dying, and then she starts fighting with Lucy. Now, this was a pretty enjoyable fight. The art was really good as always, and we got to see Lucy use some of her spirits. Although it's easy to tell that Brandish was just bullshitting this fight because, like Demaria brings up later, if she wanted to, she could just make Lucy and Natsu explode. It would be that easy. Yeah, so Demaria shows up to ruin the fun. She says to Brandish, you know, if you're not gonna kill these guys, I guess we don't need you. And then boom, just like that, she kills Brandish. I guess she uses her time powers to freeze time and then stabs her a bunch, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Then, of course, Natsu is on the ground dying, Lucy is on the ground crying, and Demaria goes up to her. It's like, alright bitch, time for a slow and painful death. Which I think, of course, will be Demaria's downfall, because she could easily just freeze time and stab her like she did Brandish. But instead, she's going to do it slowly, which will, of course, leave her open to whatever the crap. Now, I kind of wish we got to see more of Gray, because I find his storyline a bit more interesting than this. And Brandish was never really a character I cared all too much about, but it was still pretty decent. Thing is, though, like, I don't know how they're really going to get out of this unless Brandish comes back to life. Like, I don't know how Brandish could come back to life, but I'm sure Hero could find a way. Then again, it looked like Juvia died. Like, it really looked like she was dead, but it turned out she wasn't dead. So despite looking very dead, Brandish could still be alive, and what she may do is like use her last bit of magic to shrink Natsu's tumor again. And maybe then she'll die. I mean, I honestly feel like Brandish doesn't really have anything left to add to the story. I mean, if Hero kills her, there ain't gonna be any riots in the street or anything like if Juvia were to die. And of course, her existence does create some plot holes, because there are many times that you wonder, you know, why doesn't she just use her crazy overpowered magic? Although there's a chance we may not actually get to see the outcome of this, because it did say the next chapter was called Mavis and Zera. So it seems like the two of them will be reunited. This would be a good time to read Fairy Tail Zero, especially now you can pick up a physical copy. Yeah, so that about sums up my thoughts on this week's chapter of Fairy Tail. It was pretty decent, and I am looking forward to see what is going to happen, and as long as it is not stupid, which of course there are no guarantees for. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.